Ahead on Newsbeat, we'll tell you how campus crosswalks are being renovated to keep you safe.
And we'll show you how local firefighters are being trained to keep you safe. Plus, we'll explain how music can play a big part in the healing process of an illness. Newsbeat starts now.
From the Tiger TV studio in Hodges Hall, you're watching Newsbeat with Kristen Jones and Jordan Majeur. Weather with Alexandra Cranford. Sports with Hobie RT. And entertainment with Joshua Johnson. Newsbeat, Eye on LSU.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Thursday edition of Newsbeat on November 13th. I'm Jordan Majeur.
And I'm Kristen Jones. Thanks for joining us today. When getting place to place on campus, many students choose to walk.
And even though students shouldn't have to worry about safely crossing the street, Tiger TV's Allie Mannion tells us how it could be a problem for some.
Although LSU is a walking campus, there are still plenty of cars for pedestrians to watch out for. LSU PD's Captain Roger says Easy Streets has reduced campus traffic, but there are still crashes around campus.
Most of our crashes involving pedestrians now occur in the parking lots when students are coming through the parking lots trying to get to class, not really paying attention. The drivers are looking for places to park and not really paying any attention.
Roger said during exam weeks, crashes are a problem because students are easily distracted by their studies.
The students are studying as they're walking or looking down as they're walking. A lot of our drivers are distracted by stuff inside the car, such as books, papers, or study notes, or whatever they're doing.
With or without distractions, pedestrians do have the right of way on campus. LSU senior Brooke Carter believes despite this fact, dangerous situations can be prevented.
I feel like it's a responsibility on both parties really, because it is the driver's responsibility to stop, but also as a pedestrian you should look to your right and to your left.
If pedestrians are aware of cars approaching, they should be cautious and make sure those drivers know that they're there. Pedestrians have the power to prevent an accident.
Make sure that there's no cars coming through the intersections. You can always stop short if you're walking through the intersection, whereas a car is not paying attention usually cannot stop in time to avoid it.
The Office of Parking and Transportation is planning to renovate 4 on-campus crosswalks to help with driver and pedestrian visibility. For Tiger TV, I'm Allie Mannion, Eye on LSU.
The crosswalk project will cost $100,000 and will begin over winter break.
The Union has been under construction for about 2 years now, and one question on everyone's mind is when will it be finished? Tiger TV's Dave Bennett takes us inside the construction and tells us more about the completion date.
The renovations of the Union Theater started earlier this semester. It is one of the largest student theaters of any university in the United States. In addition to the renovations to the Union Theater, there will also be a new student section located directly behind me. Union Director Shirley Plakitis has been working hard on the Live Oak Lounge, which is part of the new 24-hour zone.
It will have seating space for about 250 people, lots of electrical outlets so that people can plug in their laptops. We expect that it will be heavily used for eating, for studying, for late night meetings, and so on.
The lounge will also be connected to the billiards room, which will reopen when the Live Oak Lounge officially opens. The university has included student organizations in the renovations of the new student union.
When the new Center for Student Organizations is open, we will actually have desk space for as many as 60 organizations. And we think that that's going to be, especially with the late night hours, we think that's going to be a very heavily used part of the building.
With the changes to the south side of the building, it will now be possible to see from one side of the building to the other. The new windows on the south side of the building will create a beautiful view of the oak trees along the side of the building. By 2010, the full renovation of the student union will be complete. I'm Dave Bennett for Tiger TV, Eye on LSU.
Make sure to join us next Thursday for the second installment on the Union.
This year's homecoming theme is The Ship Sails Again, and all week many students have been busy preparing for homecoming festivities. Up and down Sorority Row, Greek organizations have been busy putting together their elaborate displays for this weekend's events. If you want to join in on the homecoming fun, there are still many events taking place this weekend. Tonight at dusk, you can check out the BCS Championship Rewind, and tomorrow from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. is the homecoming block party. Saturday morning at 11:30 a.m. is the homecoming parade that will circle around campus. And of course, our Tigers will play Troy State in Death Valley at 7 p.m. Homecoming king and queen will be crowned during the LSU pregame festivities. Homecoming co-advisor Nancy Little says this weekend's festivities are a great way for students to socialize.
So much of college is what's outside of the classroom through campus programs.
And don't forget to cast your vote for the homecoming queen and king on your pause account. Voting will open up until tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Last night, the Manship School, along with the LSU Homecoming Committee, sponsored Champions in Their Fields. Students gathered in the Holiday Forum of the Journalism Building to celebrate 4 LSU alumni who have excelled in their careers. The honored guests have become political advocates, managing developers for popular firms, flight control developers, and marketing executives for today's leading magazines. Event coordinator Melody Landry says events like these show students that LSU is the place to be.
Successful LSU alumni to come and give word of advice and speak to the students and show them that, yes, with an LSU degree, you can actually be a very successful person and go out into the world and make a name for yourself like these people have.
The event was part of LSU's Homecoming 2008, The Ship Sails Again.
Another campus success is the Fire and Emergency Training Institute. Tiger TV's Tiffany Michelle tells us about the unique program just south of campus.
A local chemical plant catches on fire. How do you stop it? The firefighters at the LSU Fire and Emergency Training Institute know how to extinguish the flames. The institute has been operating for 38 years. FETI is home to several props used to train firefighters to handle industrial fires, confined space rescue, and hazardous material accidents. Alan Jose, Assistant Director of FETI, explains the types of firefighters they train.
Train municipal fire service personnel, which is people that serve in communities. We also serve and train industrial firefighters, and those are individuals that work at different types of refineries.
FETI also trains firefighters in offshore-related work, where they teach them how to put out engine fires on boats. The main goal of FETI is to simply save lives and decrease the number of fire-related deaths. Last year, over 3,000 civilians lost their lives as a result of a fire. Here at FETI, firefighters are trained and put their lives on the line to save people and stop the destruction a fire creates. Fighting fire can become a moral obligation for some. Patrick tells us why he decided to serve as a firefighter.
My dad was the chief of the volunteer department back home, and so I've grown up in the firehouse all my life, and that's what I've always wanted to be.
Patrick and other men and women like him trained at the LSU Fire and Emergency Institute learn the skills needed to protect us. One thing is for sure, these firefighters are all heroes. For Tiger TV, I'm Tiffany Michelle, Eye on LSU.
For more information on FETI, you can check out feti.lsu.edu.
Coming up on Newsbeat, we'll tell you how poetry in middle and high schools has helped adolescents in several ways.
And Alexandra Cranford will be here with the weekend weather forecast. But first, music in hospitals is helping babies, teenagers, and the elderly. Stay tuned. More Newsbeat after the break.